Alright, what is up guys, VayHoz here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the All Is Fair in Love and Brostep patch. So I don't have any effects on this, and yeah, it's only the massive patch. I think it's going to be somewhat of a long video because it's a little bit of a complicated patch, but yeah, here's what it sounds like. Yeah. I think I got pretty close to the original sound. Yeah, there's a couple things we have to note. First of all, this is pretty much done using volume automation. So what I mean by that is, like, if you grab any massive patch, just grab a random wavetable and you just mess with the volume knob, it's one of those sounds. So that's one thing to note. And then the second thing to note is that this is a harmonic sound, so it's not like one wavetable or one oscillator that made the sound. It's like multiple. So yeah, that's just a couple things that I wanted to say before we get started. Yeah, so I don't want to bore you guys out of your mind because it's like so much like tweaking and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of guide you guys through making this patch. So first of all, our first oscillator is gonna be a squelchy at 73, so a little bit past the N here in wavetable position. Pitch is at 0. Morphing type is at bend plus minus, and then the intensity for that is at 60. So pointing at the Y pretty much in intensity. The amp is at 100%, and yeah, that's it for that oscillator. Oscillator 2 is at 41 for pitch. Carbon is the wavetable, and then the oscillator 2 wavetable position is at 87. So I don't know where it's pointing at exactly. It's just like pretty much 8 out of 10, I'd say, pretty much almost 80. Then the morphing type is negative plus for bending, and yeah, you just have that up all the way. So it's technically just bending plus all the way. Then the amp is at 72%, pointing at F1 here. Oscillator 3 is just a carbon as well. Spectrum here for the morphing type, and then the pitch is at 26 this time. So this is what I meant, like, it's really harmonic. I really had to listen to, what pitches we actually hear in the original sound to determine those. So yeah, the wavetable position's at 55, or pointing at the T in wavetable position. And then intensity's up all the way. The amp is a little bit past the P in amp, so 64. It's pretty much pointing at the corner here, actually, up here. Alright, so then I decided to put a modulation oscillator just on the first oscillator because it's like, here, I'll just play it. This is with the modulation oscillator, this is without. So yeah, you can definitely, it adds a little bit more like aggressivity or whatever, and my hat is so crooked, I don't know what's going on. This is hilarious. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much all I did for the oscillators here. Don't forget to press the 1 there, so that it affects oscillator 1. Yeah, pitch is at 0. So then I have a noise oscillator. You can just turn that on for now. We'll mess with the LFO stuff afterwards. And I have a feedback on there. So yeah, it's pointing at the A there in post A. Alright, then I have a bit crusher here. Just put the dry wet at 29 here, or like pointing at F1, I guess, from the feedback here. Then bit crush right here, just make it point at the C. So that's a nice 45%. Yeah. Now insert 2, I put a parabolic shaper, and it's at 33%, the dry wet, or pointing at the corner, I guess, once again. And then the drive is at 24, pointing at to the top of the knob at the left. So yeah, we'll do all the LFO stuff afterwards once again. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that stuff. We just need to do some routing real quick, making sure that this goes pretty much after the filters. So I just go to your routing tab here, press the 2 for insert 2. So yeah, that's it right there. Okay, now for the filters, I put a low pass and low pass 4. Just put that at 91%. Yeah. Then the mix, make sure that it's all the way down like that, so that it's at mix 2. Make sure your filter volume 2 is up all the way, and volume 1. And also make sure the serial slider is all the way up so that you get both filters being used. Uh, I put an alt pass right there just because I thought it sounded cool, and you know I was really tweaking, messing around with filters, trying to see what could make it sound more like the original sound. So yeah, that's something I did. Resonance is at 21%, and then cutoff is at 23. Yeah, that's for the all pass. Then the low pass, it's at 91, the cutoff, and then resonance is at 0. Okay, now the C tube, that's on the effects slot number 1. The dry wet is at 26, and then drive is at 17. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Dimension expander is on the second insert for FX, and dry wet is at 6, and then the size is at 37. Yeah, I just noticed that there was that in the original sound. You could sort of hear a delay, and that's a little bit what the Dimension Expander does. It's a 4-channel delay, so yeah, kind of. It's a weird type of delay effect, the Dimension Expander. Very interesting, actually. All right, now for the EQ, we'll just set the values, and then we'll set the LFOs afterwards. So this is set to 32. This is set to 35. This is set to 33, and this is set to 61. So yeah. All right, now we'll set all the LFO stuff, and yeah, there's just a couple more things actually. You got to go to your voicing tab here and press make this 4 voices by sliding up, pressing and then sliding up. Then you're gonna have to turn on this wavetable position, and then just turn it. This is gonna be something that you'll have to do like afterwards, after we do this oscillator thing. But you're gonna have to fine tune this to make it sound like the original, pretty much, because any position on this slider is gonna have a different sound almost. So it's gonna be like really, you're gonna have to be picky, sort of. All right, now you're gonna have to turn this restart by gate on, and if you don't know what that does, that pretty much starts every oscillator at the same point every time, and you can literally set the point at which it starts. So, so it's the oscillation. So for this, I put it right after 270. For this, I put it right before 90. Then the third one, I put it right, pretty much on 180, just a little bit on the 0, I guess. Then the modulation oscillator right before 180. So yeah. And now if you actually press the note, it should actually start sounding like the original, except there's no LFO movement yet. So now we'll set that actually. You're going to want to set the LFO onto your noise here and turn that up. I don't know how far that is. That's like maybe a little more than a quarter of the way. And you're going to put it on your low pass filter here. Just make sure you get that double line thing. It's like, it just tells you that you went past the maximum thing, I guess. Maximum value, or something like that. Then put it on the bit crusher on the mix, up to the W pretty much, on the dry wet. And put it on the drive also, like that. Just a tiny bit, just to add a little bit of movement onto that as well. Now, let's see, I think that's it for that stuff. I put it on the volume as well, and that is to, you know, get that volume automation that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, next thing, you know, just put it on the high shelf. Pretty much have a half moon right there for that. Put it on the boost. That's a little bit more than the high shelf, you know, like that. You can kind of just drag it up. And same thing with the low shelf. You just drag it up. So it's about like that. And I think that's actually pretty much it. You might just want to change the volume here, because by default it's pretty much very high and it's going to clip. And some DAWs or digital audio workstations don't exactly allow clipping, so it's just going to hard clip it. So that's why you kind of want to you know, fine tune that and make sure that it doesn't clip whenever you play it. So yeah, I think that covers it. You can change your ratio to like 1:4, because that's the default. And then whenever you want to use that in the track or whatever, which you shouldn't, because it's already been used, and it'd be pretty obvious if you did. It's like you can pretty much just tweak that a little bit and then go to your tools, last tweak, to create automation. Then you can actually trace your automation for the rate, which is pretty awesome. I think it's up here. It's going to be called like mods den or something like that. If I could just do that, that'd be great. Here, mods den. Where is that? Right there. Okay, so now you can pretty much trace your automation. And that's what I did right there. I did it before I started recording, so yeah, that's why. Then for the X-fade curve right here, I put it in the middle so that we can get a mix of two LFO shapes. And I also pressed on sync so that we get, you know, the 1:8 ratio. So first shape is bending 1, and I you know, adjusted that a little bit so that we get this curve instead of, you know, like that. So just click and drag to move. And then I got a triangle for the second one, so that it's pretty much a mix of these two when you think about it. So yeah, that covers the sound. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you have any requests for any other sounds and stuff like that, please be sure to leave that in the comment section down below. Yeah, don't be too hard on me, because some sounds are terrible to recreate. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy your rest of your day, the rest of your day. All right, peace.